Imagine a wall of 80,000 bees hanging from a Himalayan cliff face, 3 miles above sea level. Suddenly, they begin to shimmer in perfect unison, a Mexican wave of death racing across their living fortress at lightning speed. This is not just spectacle. This is war. And these are the world's largest honeybees, locked in an evolutionary arms race with giant hornets that could end civilizations. High in the Hindu Kush Himalayas, where oxygen is thin and temperatures plummet to -40 degrees, lives a creature that defies every rule of survival. Apis laboriosa, the Himalayan giant honeybee. At 3 centimeters long, these are the titans of the bee world, constructing architectural marvels that would make human engineers weep with envy. But size means nothing when death approaches on wings. A single honeycomb stretching 5 feet wide and 3 feet deep, containing over 500,000 hexagonal chambers, suspended from a sheer cliff face by nothing more than wax and willpower. These are not just homes. They are fortresses, engineered to withstand hurricane-force winds, sub-zero blizzards, and coordinated attacks from aerial predators that could slice through steel. Every morning at dawn, 80,000 workers emerge from their cliffside citadel, ready to face a world that wants them dead. But why cliffs? Why expose themselves to the merciless Himalayan elements when they could nest safely in caves? The answer lies in evolutionary genius. These bees have discovered that light-colored, unweathered cliff faces provide unshakable foundations for colonies that can weigh hundreds of pounds when loaded with liquid gold, their legendary mad honey. Southwest-facing exposures capture maximum sunlight, transforming brutal mountain cold into life-giving warmth. Overhanging ledges become shields against monsoon fury. Every placement, every angle, every architectural decision has been refined across millions of years of survival. But here's where the story becomes truly extraordinary. Twice each year, entire civilizations of bees abandon their cliff fortresses and embark on vertical migrations that would challenge mountain climbers. When summer temperatures soar above 25 degrees Celsius, 80,000 individuals move as one mind, ascending to altitudes between 8,000 and 11,500 feet. They're following a calendar written in petals, the blooming cycles of rhododendrons and alpine wildflowers. This isn't random wandering. This is precision navigation across 3-dimensional mountain terrain, synchronized with nature's clock across an elevation span of nearly 2 miles. When winter approaches, they descend like a living avalanche, clustering at tree bases and under rocks during the coldest months, waiting for spring's resurrection. Now imagine maintaining a constant temperature of 33 degrees Celsius, when outside temperatures swing from -40 to +40 degrees. Impossible? Not for these evolutionary masterpieces. They've developed multi-layered bee curtains, living insulation systems where workers form protective shells around their precious brood. Through coordinated flight muscle vibrations, they generate heat like biological furnaces. Through evaporative cooling and strategic air circulation, they become living air conditioners. This thermoregulatory mastery surpasses anything achieved by cavity nesting species. They've turned exposure into advantage, vulnerability into strength. But survival requires more than architecture and temperature control. It demands communication so precise that a forager can guide sisters to a patch of flowers 4 miles away across treacherous mountain terrain. Enter the waggle dance, but not as you know it. These cliff-dwelling giants have revolutionized bee language for 3-dimensional navigation. Their dances encode altitude-specific distance calculations, compensating for wind patterns, cliff acoustics, and the visual landmarks of vertical worlds. And they possess something no other bee species has mastered: mandibular alarm pheromones that can coordinate the defensive responses of 80,000 individuals in milliseconds. But all this evolutionary perfection means nothing when the enemy arrives. Giant hornets, aerial destroyers capable of decapitating dozens of bees per minute with mandibles that could slice through bone. These are not ordinary predators. These are extinction machines, evolved specifically to shatter bee civilizations. A single hornet scout marks a colony with death pheromones. Within hours, squadrons of killers descend like fighter jets, each one a flying guillotine programmed for genocide. Against such odds, individual heroism is suicide. Only collective genius can prevail. And this is where our story reaches its climax. When danger approaches, something miraculous happens. It begins with a single bee detecting threat vibrations. Within milliseconds, she alerts her neighbors through chemical and mechanical signals. Then the magic begins. A wave of synchronized movement explodes across the colony surface. 80,000 bees raising their abdomens in perfect unison, creating a shimmering cascade that races from edge to edge in split seconds. This is the famous Mexican wave defense, but calling it a wave misses the point entirely. This is psychological warfare. This is a living hologram designed to confuse, disorient, and terrify predators. The shimmering creates a shelter zone extending 50 centimeters from the nest surface. A no-fly zone where predator navigation systems fail. But when shimmering fails, these master defenders deploy their ultimate weapon: thermal execution. Hundreds of workers swarm the intruding hornet, forming a living sphere of death. Through coordinated flight muscle contractions, they generate temperatures reaching 47 degrees Celsius, hot enough to literally cook their enemy alive. But temperature is only part of the execution. Carbon dioxide accumulates within the bee ball, creating a suffocating atmosphere. Targeted stings pierce the hornet's vulnerable neck region, the varicurvix, with surgical precision. This is execution by committee, death by degrees, victory through absolute coordination. For over 1,000 years, the Gurung and Magar peoples of Nepal have shared these cliffs with their giant neighbors. These honey hunters have developed their own synchronized systems, traditional techniques using handmade rope ladders, smoke from specific plants like Olax acuminata and Hydnocarpus curtzi, and harvesting methods that leave brood combs intact. Their mad honey, containing psychoactive gray anotoxins from rhododendron nectar, now commands prices of $900 per kilogram on international markets. But this golden treasure comes with a price. Traditional production has collapsed from 600 kilograms to just 100 kilograms annually as climate change disrupts the ancient rhythms. Beyond honey, beyond tradition, these giant bees maintain something far more precious: life itself. 75% of Nepal's crops depend on their pollination services. They're the exclusive high-altitude specialists, with no alternatives at extreme elevations. Their foraging networks extend over 4.1 kilometers from nest sites, connecting fragmented habitats and enabling forest regeneration across the Himalayas. They don't just make honey, they make ecosystems possible. But Himalayan warming exceeds global average rates. Altered precipitation patterns disrupt flowering phenology. Migration timing becomes chaotic as temperature patterns grow unpredictable. Recent genomic research reveals a devastating truth. Rapid population decline over the past 10,000 years, correlated with climate fluctuations. These ancient masters of synchronization now face their greatest test, adapting to changes happening faster than evolution itself. Stronger positive selection pressure affects 2.5 times more genes compared to their lowland relatives, indicating desperate evolutionary acceleration. Recent adaptive evolution suggests ongoing environmental adaptation, but will it be fast enough? This is nature's most synchronized defense system. This is how civilizations endure. But here's what I want to know. If you had to face a giant hornet with nothing but teamwork and coordination, what synchronized defense strategy would you use? Drop your creative battle plans in the comments below, and let me know which amazed you more: the thermal execution at 47 degrees, or that Mexican wave of 80,000 bees moving in perfect unison.